The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. 24th of November, 2021. The Awakening of Jacob. A textbook example of hyper-incremental, logarithmically segmented interval training. Or perhaps a creative and healthy way to spin away summer afternoons whilst waiting for subscribers of Brighton and Hove's Evening Argus to return to their abodes and buzz in that innocent and devoted paperboy, whom every other resident within a 6-story, 200-apartment block of flats believed was an imminent threat to their existence. Regardless, to state that these roads were awash with, enriched by, and adorned in more fond and vivid childhood memories than any other factual or fictional streets, avenues, crescents, alleys, promenades, esplanades, boulevards, and, dare I say, cyclepaths, accounted for by over 200,000 miles of factual and fictional activities, would still shamefully under-honour their emotional significance to one particular lifelong local. And in adulthood, not long after my first ever Garmin, a Forerunner 310 XT complete with premium heart rate strap, sent its maiden fit file to Strava's monolithic servers, throughout one prolonged and psychologically taxing winter in 2014, it was these very memories that prevented this self-conceived concept course, christened Jacob's Ladder, from driving me both figuratively and literally round the left bend, though I'm informed the right is even worse. Originally devised as a nocturnal alternative to Preston Park's velodrome, itself being cloaked in darkness by night, the route is effectively an elaborate variation of the common snakes and ladders format, and incorporates no fewer than 22 interconnecting roads to serve as the basis for uniquely flexible structured workouts, and a lesson in rudimentary arithmetic. Begin at the southern end of Prince's Crescent, head north to its junction with New Church Road, head west along the latter, take the first left-hander you encounter, then surge back south towards the sea. Keep it tight when rejoining Kingsway, always squeezing the brakes unless you're absolutely certain the coast is clear, then return to Prince's Crescent, and repeat the process, but this time take the second left turn off New Church Road, then the third, then the fourth, and so on. If you happen to miss just one between Westbourne Villas and St Leonard's Gardens, start all over again. And revisiting the mental aspect of this challenge, do you know how hard it is to count from 1 to 17 with so many cognitive distractions? 27th of November. Step by stealth. The kind of Rule 5 recovery spin that the world's first true full-suspension gravel grinder was built to make just about bearable, though still decisively frigid enough to 1. Make me regret not opting for the lobster pincers within the first 5 pedal strokes. 2. Prove conclusively that when science declares it's too cold to snow, it still sleets. 3. Arouse precious little sympathy within me whilst listening to Mark Kermode expound upon his challenging transition to non-alcoholic beer, before roasting Ghostbusters Afterlife from the comfort of a thermally insulated BBC studio. 4. Savour every sip of steaming hot tea from the pint mug I brewed upon returning home. And 5. Cause me to put an extra layer under the duvet before going back to sleep. P.S. Once the sleet had subsided, it was worth staying out for long enough to partially dry up, and be thankful that I don't live in Scotland. 28th of November. Scant supplies. Feeling every stinging uppercut from a ferocious northerly face flare that, moments earlier, I'd heard barbarically buffeting my bedroom window, wishing from my Marciano-like crouch in the saddle that I could deliver a blockbuster right hook in return, cursing at 24-hour mini-marts that decide to keep increasingly flexible hours, especially on Saturdays, yet still ultimately having my temper assuaged by the one bike on the planet that prevents me from rage-quitting reality, and being eternally thankful to return home without such hellaciously harsh conditions inducing the intense post-ride chill of yesterday's sleety spin, due in part to more fitting handwear. And then, from the comfort of a warm bed with a soft pillow, I again heard those icy snarls and sneered back in shrewd satisfaction, "Blow yourself out, fiend, while I dream of friends." 29th of November. Still too cold to snow. And just as well, else I would have felt far too flaky to collect the thoughts that yesterday's infernal fiend from the north swept away in a whirl of snarling ferocity. A classic example of how ambient bodily harm, ABH, can make recovery feel like a haul up Hard Knot's Pass. Though felines and foxes had heisted their fair share, by the cinnamon glow of a low-hanging winter's moon, I was able to find at least 60 more stray breadcrumbs around Falcon Close, and with them a reason for this ride to last 10 kilometers longer. A fitting dose of reality for Cyber Monday.